So yeah, this whole Yasuke thing is working out really swell for Ubisoft, isn't it? I mean, hey, if the aim was to get as much PR noise around your project as possible, they have certainly succeeded, as there are very, very few games in human history that has threatened to rise to the level of a diplomatic incident. And hey, you know what? I would love it if somehow, could we somehow get this to escalate to a war between Japan and France? Because not only do I think that would lead to a whole bevy of video games a lot better than Assassin's Creed, I think it would just be a fun clash, frankly. We've got the two factions here, one being famous for surrendering in the Second World War, and the other being famous for not surrendering at all during the Second World War, including that one soldier who refused to surrender until, what, the 80s or something? I think it would be an interesting confrontation, that's all I'm saying, but anywho, Assassin's Creed has now decided to put out an official communique. Assassin's Creed Shadows, an update for the Japanese community. Now, you would have thought that this would have been written in Japanese, right? Hiragana, katana, that kind of fancy stuff, right? To really show a sense of sincerity, like we are going to speak to you in your own language, you filthy little... But no, they've decided to write it in English, and to be fair, I understand why, seeing as the last time the Ubisoft attempted to communicate to the Japanese audience in Japanese, they ended up writing it in Chinese instead. Which, oh boy, if you want something that could escalate into an international incident, mistaking those two languages might just do it, as the two nations, China and Japan, have a somewhat contentious history. They've been mean to one another. Mostly the Japanese being mean to the Chinese, but still, you know. Anywho, to our esteemed Japanese community, oh, you can tell that they were planning of writing this in Japanese to begin with, or Chinese. A message from the Assassin's Creed Shadow development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks. That doesn't exist, so skip that. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions. Liar. But also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for blah blah blah. Overall authentic efforts. We have put significant efforts into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. That is why we elected to introduce a giant black samurai whom the Japanese have to kowtow to as he beats them to death with an iron cudgel whilst rap music plays in the background. Now, this is, of course, just PR speak, but seriously, Ubisoft. Come on now. You know this is only gonna make it worse. Help me. However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed game, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as a factual representation of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical setting we get inspired by. See, I get that argument, I do, and they are of course correct, but, well, you also go on to talk about your historical inspiration. We strive for authenticity in everything we do. This reminds me of Creative Assembly a few years ago, where they mentioned that their games aren't meant to be historically accurate, they're meant to be historically authentic. Those two words essentially mean the same thing. See, this is the problem. If you want to be simply a fantasy game, you should just market yourself as a fantasy game. You should be Assassin's Creed. What if we had a black samurai? And what if he was really fond of penis? Because people could kind of just look at that and shrug. Okay, here we have fantasy feudal Japan, in which you not only have a character who has been written in part by a historian whose primary work was about gay sex in Japan, but he's black as well. Alright, okay, we're just going completely off the wall here. Let's have aliens arrive and invade feudal Japan, and the only one who can stop them is the wielder of the magic sword of anti-illegal aliens or something. But you didn't do that. You tried to contact historians, which, incidentally, one of which is the historical enthusiast, not a PhD, which have admitted that, yeah, no, the Yasuke thing is pure speculation. It's the entire unfolding drama right now that Yasuke's status as a samurai might have been made up out of whole cloth as part of what is essentially a fictional novel at that point. You can't have your cake and eat it too, unfortunately, Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. See, there's the go. You just need to go, it's a work of fiction. Not inspired by, because you're inspired by further fiction at this point. From its inception, the series have taken creative license and incorporated fancy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story within the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke's depiction as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge this matter is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative and with other lead characters. Have you though? Because from all we've seen, you've just represented him as a samurai. There doesn't appear to be any narrative here unless... Are you telling us that he's pretending to be a samurai? Are you telling us that all the other Japanese people bowing and kowtowing to him are like... I mean, he's a really strange color that I've literally never before seen in my entire existence, but he's wearing the correct armor, so I guess I'll just treat him as a noble anyways. What? In a game about sneaking, do you not think that Yasuke would be... somewhat standoutish, somewhat difficult to overlook, perhaps, somewhat, defeating the entire point of Assassin's Creed right there. I guess that's why you had to have the other stealthy character, the female one as well, so as to try and preserve some hint of the assassinness in Assassin's Creed, though. We had a previous one where we played as a Viking, so I don't even know if we are attempting to maintain the whole sneaky assassin thing anymore. And the worst part here too is, Ubisoft is literally trapped here. Now, if Ubisoft was ever going to do an Assassin's Creed Japan, they would have to pick Yasuke, because it is the current year. If they didn't pick Yasuke, every publication like this would be going racist at them and screeching at them. If they picked Yasuke, then they would do this, and we would look at them and go, you're retarded. There is no winning here whatsoever for Ubisoft. This is a complete no-win scenario. And either they thought they were, 6 years ago, because here's the thing, if they'd released this 6, 7 years ago, people would have sighed. They go like, oh, this is dumb. They would have made fun of it a little bit and then moved on. It wouldn't have escalated into a diplomatic incident or anything in all due likelihood. It would just be, oh, those silly gaijin doing their silly gaijin things. But now, you have picked the crux, the turning point of the culture war to do this. Oh boy. This is going to be Ubisoft's The Acolyte, I damn near guarantee you. This is going to be their attempt to go all in on DEI, to try and push every element that the HR crew have been pushing for to finally reach the zenith of that diverse audience. And it is going to be a bomb, the likes of which have rarely been seen. Now, you could also argue that all of this additional PR, and boy, it has received a lot, might actually be advantageous. It might bring it to the forefront, but here's the thing, as I've said so many times, there is absolutely bad PR in the current day, because getting people to know about your game is not the problem for Ubisoft. Making people go, oh hey, Assassin's Creed, that's a video game series, isn't the issue. Everybody already knows. You're already going to get coverage in all of the mainstream media outlets. Your game is already going to get played by most of the big Let's Player accounts. You already have all the PR you could possibly desire. This isn't some, lesser-known third-party indie game made by a sole singular developer in his basement. It is a major release by a major company. But you can absolutely chase away fans from this. You can absolutely make the already installed player base, the people who would have bought your game without a second thought, turn around and go, no, I don't actually think I want a woke-infested piece of crap for $60, $70. I think I could get something better for that. I hear there's a lot of fun and engaging cross-dressing games on Steam or something, which will give me pretty much the same experience as Assassin's Creed Shadows, but for a third of the price. There you go. As the continued fallout, the repeated disasters, the unending drama around this title, I mean, hell, at this point, Ubisoft might actually be better off with actually dropping the entire game and hoping that the PR gains from doing so would be beneficial. See, again, they can't even just drop Yasuke at this point, because if they do, again, Pink News is going to have something to say about that, aren't they? Yes, they are. You're going to regain the right-wing audience only to get rid of the left-wing one. Ubisoft, this is a losing battle. The best you can do here is what I like to call a Peter Molyneux move, where you release the game and then immediately upon releasing it go, yes, we agree with the criticism. This didn't really work out. I knew this wasn't going to work out all that well. I kind of hated it secretly. Yes, we didn't reach our full creative zenith here. Oh, that part you hated? Oh yeah, we hated that too, but you know, we were just locked in, couldn't do anything about it, but next title, I promise you, we're gonna do nothing like this. And hey, it worked for aforementioned Molyneux for like, 6 or 7 titles? So I'm sure Ubisoft can squeeze at least one of those out of their butt cheeks. Unless that's the next, yes, that's the next drama, Hot Coffee mod, but with Yasuke and Oda Nobunaga. Oh boy, you want to see a diplomatic incident? have him immigrate up Oda Nobunaga's border regions. Oh, that would be funny. That might actually be enough to get me to buy the game just to play that scene alone. Something to consider, Ubisoft. Something valuable to take into consideration for future DLC, perhaps. The final penetrative fall of Oda Nobunaga. He didn't actually die in that fire. He died taking a bit too much, BBC. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. And I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.